KERX, Paris, Fort Smith.
2 seconds, 1 second, he lets fly with a shot.
From the Busch and Busch Light Studios, this is ESPN 95.3.
Good morning, Vietnam!
Broadcasting live from the Bud Light Studio.
I love Arkansas. I love everything here. Give me that thing here. Woo!
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Why did that happen in Fayetteville, Arkansas?
Dixon Street. It'll get you.
Streaming live from
Hit that line.
.com.
You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
This is Halftime.
Man, that ball got out of here in a hurry. You know, anything travels that far, ought to have a damn stewardess on it, don't you think?
With Phil Elson.
No, I think you do a spectacular job.
And Tye Richardson.
Tye, I love the way you talk, buddy.
Pack your bags, load them up, gas the car, and raise that bright red flag to the skies. 423 miles away, the Emerald City awaits. The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Hey, hold on, it's almost halftime.
Boy, it's nice to start the week with a little certainty, isn't it? We had a really interesting week, as I think all sports fans that identify as Razorback fans had last week, with all of the rumors that were flying around, with the fact that it started with April Fool's Day, with the idea that the coach that a lot of you wanted to see hired at Arkansas took his team a little bit further than maybe you expected. And now by the end of last week, things started to maybe even fly off of the radar a little bit. Now you've got your man, and there is no more uncertainty. Now there is nothing but certainty as to finally the direction that the basketball program is going to be going in. So that makes this week much different than last week. And isn't that a good thing? We had some fun. In fact, I thought it was a lot of fun to dig into the coaching records and coaching history of some of the targets that seemingly were right there on the radar for Hunter Yurachek and his administration. And I think we spent, what was it? Was it Tuesday last week, really getting through a little bit on Eric Musselman? Because that was the day that the reports were coming out that supposedly he was on campus. That there was a press conference set up at Bud Walton Arena, so it just felt like everybody was starting to center around that. But it took a few days, because later on in that afternoon, Eric Musselman's wife Danielle tweets that he's still in Reno, that has no plans of going anywhere, and so it took an extra few days, but it did turn out that was the man. And man, isn't it interesting how the day after Texas Tech wins in the national semifinal, and pretty much at that point you're figuring, well, you're really, it might have been a long shot to attract Chris Beard anyway to Arkansas, and then it became almost completely unrealistic. So it's not. Maybe you get the sense that Arkansas is settling a little bit, but this seems like a great hire when you look at all the reactions from people who know Eric Musselman, who are close to the basketball program, and you know, even the videos that have been put out with Coach Musselman now talking with his new team. I think there's going to be a lot of positive feedback. Just to put it out there, I think this is a great hire. I think this feels like it's got the chance of being a home run. But how do you know right now? I mean, if it's all about so-called winning the press conference and winning the social media introduction, I mean, we'll find out about the press conference in 3 hours. It'll be carried right here on ESPN Arkansas. The social media has been outstanding, you know, in the last 24 hours since the announcement came out. So how do you know it's going to be a home run hire? Ask us in 2 years, in 3 years, when you know the direction of this program. But man, you're really going back to the way that coaches had been hired at Arkansas for a long, long time. We'd gotten into this last week, Ty. Remember, Eddie Sutton built Creighton for a few years before being hired at Arkansas and turning Razorback basketball finally into a big statewide thing and a national contender and a place that a lot of NBA talent was coming from. Nolan Richardson built his program at Tulsa and then builds Arkansas into a national championship program, and they have the great run. After that, still, it was the same with Stan Heath. It was the same with John Pelfrey. And Mike Anderson was a little bit of the outlier in that he'd built a couple of programs, not just one, and of course it helped build Arkansas. But now you're back to the way that it used to be, and not to say that it's right one way or the other, but Eric Musselman has done nothing but win at Nevada and turn them into a nationally recognized program. 3 straight championships in the Mountain West Conference, a Sweet 16, top 10 rankings sometimes, and attracting top talent that might have fallen out of favor at previous programs. It seems like a great hire, but time will tell. I think he'll probably, because he seems like a really energetic guy who'll be a lot of fun to listen to. Don't you think he'll win the press conference later today?
Oh, I think he absolutely will. But I will say I'm a little weary and a little uneasy of calling this a great hire, because all I've seen on social media as of late is he's the guy, he's a good fit, blah, blah, blah. And that worries me a little bit, because the majority of the time, and there's Arkansas media do their due diligence, and I'm not trying to steal Rushkin's stick here, but they do their due diligence when it comes to looking up and the background, the information of that. But traditionally, these guys and the ladies in the media as well don't watch college basketball religiously. They don't consistently watch, and they didn't know who Eric Musselman was until his name was popped up as a possibility as the Arkansas candidate. And that being said, national media are really excited about this hire too, whether it's Aaron Torres, whether it's John Rothstein, Jeff Goodman. They all think it's a good hire. And so I think because of the national media, you're never going to see an Arkansas media person come out right off the bat and just blast a hire, because he's got to walk in the press conference. He probably wants to kiss a little you-know-what off the bat, whoever it may be. But I think that fans, the reception of him because of the national college basketball world, specifically major guys who have major impact in this industry, think it's a good hire. I think that's going to bode well for the reception of fans. John put a poll out on Twitter today. What do you think about the Eric Musselman hire? You know what the percentage was of it being good? 96%, which I think if you asked that a couple days ago, it would not have gotten that high, because all these national people are talking about how this is such a good hire and how it's going to be a good fit in Fayetteville. I think that's kind of changed the perception a little bit on how you look at this hire overall for the Arkansas Razorbacks basketball program.
I would have never thought that in previous hirings that you would take a look and say this isn't a good hire, because anybody that was on your radar had already built some programs and already came from a lot of wins. That's why, unless somebody just looks like a complete idiot at the press conference, I just couldn't imagine. I don't remember anybody being critical of the John Pelfrey hire, because you looked at, hey, it looked like he did really well at South Alabama. This guy's got a little bit of a pedigree. How did anybody know that it was going to be a complete disaster? You could look at the Stan Heath hiring and say, look, that was 1 year as a head coach. It had a little bit of a fluke to it. So how do you know that he's going to be able to sustain that success? You know who else has done that? Chris Beard did that. He took 1 year at Little Rock, win 30 games, go over to Texas Tech, and look at what they are. They're about to play for the national championship. So, I mean, it can happen. It just didn't happen with Stan Heath. Nobody would have been able to point at that and say, look, this isn't going to work. You know, I don't see how you look at this and say that it's a bad hire. Now, perhaps maybe some of our listeners, you know, still didn't like the idea of Mike Anderson being fired. I still think that there are some.
That's true.
There are a lot of people arguing that you shouldn't have made the change in the first place to get rid of Mike Anderson. But now that you've already done that, I mean, you can't live in the past. So this is the direction. And, you know, one thing that I really think stands out here, and this also stands apart from the other coaches that have been a head coach at Arkansas, Eric Musselman comes from a player development perspective and from building talent, I mean, building players around their own talent and teaching them how to work hard throughout his time in the CBA, longtime CBA coach. You know, 2 stops at the NBA, and it's a different style of coaching, but I think that also attracts a certain kind of player, and I think that also says something about the ability to get the best out of your players. He seems like he would be the kind of coach that can, how to put it, coach them up a little bit.
Yeah, and with that point, Phil, he almost encourages certain individuals to go after certain individual accolades. And that kind of sounds weird, but he wants the team to be first. But he and assistant coaches will tell players, hey, you're 1 rebound away from a double-double. Hey, you're 1 rebound from breaking this record, which is kind of an interesting mindset and an interesting dynamic to have, because if you look at most college basketball, college football, and just college coaches in general, they don't ever really touch on individual records or anything of that nature. But he feels like it motivates players an extra oomph if he can say, well, you're so and so shy from this record, you're close to getting this. He does it differently, and he actually had a conversation with the players last night. He actually touched on the individuality and the team effort of player value.
If you make the tournament, that means you're a good team. Your value as an individual player is going to go up. Whether a guy has a chance at the NBA, whether a guy's going to play in Europe, whether he's going to play in the G League. If you don't win, your value is low. And so we got to win. We got to win for each of you individually, and we got to win for each other collectively.
I hate when people come out and say they don't care about individual rewards, records, because that's just not true. But the end goal of an athlete, college, professional, what the team should come above first. But it's okay to want individual stuff. Your team mindset needs to be above that. And that, it looks like, based on his time in Nevada and what he was speaking to the players last night, he's going to value the team aspect, but he's okay with going after individual accolades.
Yeah, but it's all the idea of what's more valuable in a player. There are all sorts of skills that you can point to that make up a good player, that lead to certain statistics that you want from those positions. But at the end of the day, and this is what he's touching at here, your value is whether or not we win. That's what I'm getting from what he's talking about.
Yeah.
And the more you win, the more you are doing things the right way, the more you are holding yourself more accountable, the more you are being prepared for the upcoming opponent. Those who are making the decisions as to where you go in a draft, how much of a chance you get, to play if you're a G League coach. A lot of them, they want players who know how to win, and it seems that's sort of what he's touching at here, is that we're going to be winning a lot of games, and that's going to be because of you, and your value is going to be jumping up because of that. And I mean, look, no season with fewer than 24 victories at Nevada. I understand that's the Mountain West, but somebody's got to be the best in every league, and if you do it for 3 straight years, that's a certain level of success. Plus, 30-win seasons don't happen fluky. That means you had a great season, and there's no two ways about that. Now, I also think I have a feeling he holds players highly accountable. Another thing that he touched at on this video, and this is where the professional experience comes from the CBA, from the NBA, is how they're going to prep this team to get ready for an opponent. Coach and I guess we're all going to have to call him Muss now. I mean,
Bus.
I'm so used to always referring to somebody by their full name or call him Coach such and such, but Muss just seems to be too easy to pass up. But he was pointing to the idea that our scouting reports are probably more involved than they've been previously, and you are going to be expected to know these scouting reports, and we're going to get you ready for these opponents.
And the one thing that's going to be a little bit of a culture shock to you guys is going to be our terminology and our in-depth scouting reports. I'm trying to figure out how I want to even start this summer educating you guys on how pro players prepare for a game.
And I know Nolan talked about this during the national championship replay that the Arkansas men's basketball program had on their social media accounts. But his mindset was, we're just going to do our mindset, our ideology really well, not necessarily worry about what the other team's doing. Now, they obviously looked at film, they looked at certain plays and certain whatever, but that was less of an initiative, that less emphasis on what the other teams is doing. Based on what he said, based on college basketball people you've talked to, they're into film, they're into watching stuff, they're into making sure they're knowing the other opponent very well, and that's going to be kind of different, that mindset. And there's going to be a lot of differences between Eric Musselman and Mike Anderson, similar to Chad Morris and Brett Bielema. That's just how it's going to be, because you have what looks to be, now they'll have some similarities, but it looks to be two completely different ideologies on a lot of different areas, and that's going to take some rebuilding time and a process, but he's going to bring that NBA background that you alluded to that they simply haven't had there. You mentioned his time in the NBA, the CBA. He knows, and I heard Bobby Hurley talking about this yesterday on ESPN National Radio, how important getting to the NBA is for players of this generation today. And so when you can incorporate, hey, I was in the NBA, I've coached these players, and so on, then you can say, I know what it takes to get you to the National Basketball Association, and that's why you need to come play for me, and that's not why you need to put it all out for me, because of that framework that, hey, I can get you there.
Well, the guy certainly seems to know how to run a practice, because these practices apparently are legendary. I heard our friend Aaron Torres talking about this, a few others, about how the practices at Nevada were constantly in motion, and drill after drill after drill, with a little bit of film time, getting back onto the court, and just kind of like a 2 to 2.5 hour session of insanity is the way that Aaron Torres defined it. So it seems that the intensity also, I think, around the program probably picks up a little bit, which is interesting because there was that contrast in, kind of like Mike Anderson's personality, which I always, kind of never believed fans when you'd be worried about whether or not the coach is screaming on the sideline or whether he looks intense, because I think Mike Anderson was plenty intense when he needed to be, and I saw some of those moments at practice. He was much more reserved in games, but he was also a little bit more of a laid-back kind of a personality at times. We want him to play this up-tempo pace, this fast as 40, that you didn't really ever quite have the depth to pull it off fully the way that you wanted to do it.
Yeah.
It seems, and I don't know the style that Muss wants to play, but I know he likes to value the ball. They shoot the three, and they will get it up and down a little bit.
It's positionless basketball where they, a lot of times, like this year, Cody Martin, who was their power forward / small forward, depending on what position you want to look at, they like to bring him with the ball up. They have a lot of different ball handlers, and it's positionless basketball where they have a lot of shooting threes, as you mentioned. It's going to look, obviously they're not going to press as much as Mike Anderson and his staff did, but there's going to be some similarities, but there are also going to be some differences. You're going to see a lot more diagram plays. You're going to see a lot more sets that you didn't see under Mike Anderson in this era.
See, and Muss comes from not just a coaching background, but it seems he lived side by side with his father's legacy. I mean, literally growing up inside that legacy,
yeah.
Coaching in Cleveland, coaching in San Diego, going around the CBA, playing 3-on-3 against Phil Jackson and his coaching staff in the CBA. This is, it's like he's a gym rat who played for 4 years at San Diego, 5'7". So obviously this is a guy that probably knows how to sweat in the gym and put up 1,000 free throws and 200 other shots and get the most out of what you have. But then there's also the idea that, and this is kind of what I was alluding to with the practice, I would assume, somebody in that situation, most coaches know a lot of drills, but when you're talking about a life lived around coaches, even as a player, he always had that he called his father Bill his best friend. I mean, he always would have that influence of coming from a coach, living around that day by day, and seeing how you handle all these certain situations. You have a feeling he obviously he started his coaching career as in the pros and CBA, and at that point you want to be an NBA coach for a long time. He makes the decision after being let go by Sacramento to take off some time. There was a bad exit from Sacramento, and go into college coaching. And he rose really quickly. You almost have the sense that this, it all leads to here. Arkansas is the kind of place that you can make a lot of money, and he's making obviously a lot more than he did at Nevada. You can win games here. You can turn yourself into a legend and never want to leave. And all roads, these crazy roads that these coaches live, that they travel, and the coaches' kids that are going along with them from birth. It almost is like it led Eric Musselman up to this point. So I don't know. It feels like a good fit. Again, you want it to be a good fit, but we won't know for a couple years.
See, that's what I want to touch on. We've listed a lot of positives up to this point, but we have to touch on the negatives. One, your buddy Wes Moore actually mentioned this. 8 assistant coaches in 3 years in Nevada. 3 to 4 years in Nevada. He went through 8 of them. That's a lot. He's known to be working his guys. And I told you about my friend who got offered the equipment job at Arkansas and turned it down. He was very happy because when Musselman came in, he said he would have worked him to death. So that's one thing you got to point out. Number 2, his players, it looked like they quit on this year. They were very hyped heading into this season. They had a first-round exit against Florida. That was a very talented team, as I mentioned a week ago, the most experienced team in the country, and they lost to Florida. They underperformed this season. So that's two. You wonder how much the transfers and how much that he focuses more on that compared to high school recruiting. How does that mesh here, Phil? How does that fit here? Can he live and die in the SEC, not hitting the state as much as you would? And I don't think Arkansas fans would care as much if they continue to win and have high success. And he gets them to a Sweet 16, he's going to be on some thick ice for quite some time. And that being said, if they start losing, they don't make it to the tournament maybe the first 2 years, and he's missing on some of these in-state kids. How much does that have an impact on his coaching here at Arkansas? These are just some things to think about, because I know everyone wants to be positive. Hey, new coach, this is great. You're paying him even less than Mike Anderson. You're only paying about $2.5 million. But there are some negatives to what he brings to the table as the head coach. No, I just haven't heard a lot of people touch on that, because I think people were afraid early on in this guy's career that, we can't bring up too many negatives because then we're going to be looked at as a bad media member. Those are out there. It's something to think about.
These aren't necessarily negatives. I think they end up being facts, and perhaps maybe you can call it a potential drawback, but I also get the sense that if you're hired by Eric Musselman, you kind of know what you're getting into, what the practices are like, that maybe you're looking at it as a springboard opportunity. I don't know. And maybe he's not going to change how he is as a coach, or how the practices that he runs, or how he deals with assistants moving to Arkansas. I don't think there's any doubt about that. But, maybe there's a good thing about some staff turnover every once in a while, because we didn't see much of that at these last few years at Arkansas, and it seemed that things got a little bit stale. So, but, yeah, these are all legitimate points. They are. And it's tough. Like I said, when you're making a hire as a program like Arkansas, and you're going with somebody that's got a track record, this isn't the Jerry Stackhouse hire, which really kind of makes you scratch your head a little bit. You're going off of a track record right now of wins, and isn't that really what it comes down to? If Arkansas starts winning 24, 25 games a year, gets to the NCAA tournament 3 straight seasons, maybe gets into a Sweet 16, then do you really care if your assistant coaching staff is more of a revolving door?
Just win, baby, win. Nick Saban is one of the most egotistical, tyrannical coaches out there. And do you know why Alabama fans don't care? Because he wins, baby.
Heck, they call him a saint. I don't know if his assistants do, but they get paid while they're there. And hey, that's a whole other thing what they've already built. All right, so this will be a fun halftime, because we get to talk about this a little bit more. Also talking the spring game with Danny West at the bottom of this hour. You feel like the spring game was really shoved to the background. The literal background over the weekend, because baseball had a big series at Auburn, which also entailed, I think, the most innings I've ever called in one day, and definitely the most radio that I've ever done in one day. Plus 3 up, 3 down. A little talk on the Final Four. We're talking Corlissville with Brad Caldwell later in hour number 2. So it's a big Monday here on Halftime. And this is ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
No hidden agendas on this program. You're listening to Halftime. It's like he answered my prayers, the way that she moves. This is the Morning Rush.
Eddie in Clarksville.
Tupac said this: we wouldn't ask why the rails going through the concrete had damaged pedals. We would all love as will to reach the sun. We're gonna bust through that concrete and start winning on a high level again.
It's not what you say, it's how you say it. I never heard Tupac say that.
Don't miss the Morning Rush. Weekdays from 6 till 9. Only on ESPN 95.3.
At Hardee's, we change deals forever. Deals used to be a way to get rid of the unpopular stuff. Well, Hardee's thinks deals should sell the best stuff for $2.49, which is why this Hardee value serves up a juicy charbroiled bacon double cheeseburger, our hot ham and cheese, or hand-breaded chicken in our Southern-style tender sandwich, each for only $2.49. One day, historians will look back on this Hardee value as a turning point for deal variety and quality. Historians like to make a big deal out of big deals. Hardee's, because it tastes better.
Offer available for a limited time after regular breakfast hours at participating Hardee's restaurants. Price and participation may vary. Tax not included.
The best TV experience in the nation is available locally with personal service from WOW World of Wireless, your neighborhood professional Dish authorized retailer. Dish has the Hopper 3, the most advanced DVR, and delivers a premium viewing experience. Tired of running out of DVR space? With the Hopper 3, you can record up to 2,000 hours of your favorite programming. and watch your very own favorite channels and DVR recording anywhere you go on your phone or tablet. Call now, WOW World of Wireless at 877-305-DISH. That's 877-305-3474 for more details. Or stop by our location at the corner of Phoenix and Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith, or visit us online at shopwownow.com. Get the Hopper 3 today by calling WOW World of Wireless at 877-305-DISH. That's 877-305-3474. Or online at shopwownow.com.
Monthly equipment fees and other restrictions apply. Recording hours vary. 2,000 hours based on SD programming. Remote viewing requires internet connection and compatible mobile device.
Spring is coming, and Prestigious Pool Care and Storage is ready to help you open your pool, replace your old liner, or update the equipment. Prestigious Pool Care and Storage is the local dealer for Regal Chemicals. Our testing center will help determine what Regal chemicals you need for balancing and sanitizing the water. We have mini storage to store that winter cover or other household items also. Let Prestigious Pool Care and Storage and Regal recharge your pool for a safe and happy summer. 9900 Highway 71 South, or call 648-1213.
What matters most to your family can now cost less when you choose comfortable, reliable, and efficient natural gas heating, water heating, cooking, and clothes drying for your home. You make the right choice in today's environment. High-efficiency natural gas appliances can reduce your monthly costs. And right now, you can save even more with heating and water heating rebates from AOG. Visit AOGC.com today and get more comfort for less cost.
Ford Truck Month may be over, but you can still save big money at Dunn Ford Country in Stigler, Oklahoma. Right now, take $11,000 off new 2018 Ford Expeditions currently in stock. We have 0% financing available on all 2018 F-150s in stock. Want a 2019 F-150? No problem. We have 0% to 0.9% financing on all 2019 F-150s currently in stock. Dunn Ford Country in Stigler, Oklahoma. 888-471-7316 or see us on the web at DunnFordCountry.com. Come make it a done deal with America's best-selling truck for 42 years.
Hi, I'm Eddie Lee Herndon with United Way. Did you know that $1 can provide 5 meals to hungry families in our area? Every dollar given to Arvest Bank's Million Meals campaign does just that. Now through June 1st, you can make a monetary contribution or donate non-perishable food items at any of the Arvest locations in our area. Contributions stay local and benefit the River Valley Regional Food Bank, the Community Service Clearinghouse, and United Way of Fort Smith area. Arkansas and Oklahoma both rank among the top 10 nationally in food insecurity. Please visit arvest.com/million meals. Arvest makes no representation that any contribution is tax deductible. Please consult your tax advisor.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Tye Richardson.
Swung on and lifted deep to center. Fletcher on the run. Dominic Fletcher goes into a slide. Did he make the catch? What a catch by Dominic Fletcher. A tumbling, sliding grab, and this one belongs to the Razorbacks.
Let's see, I think that was about 11:15 at night Friday, that call you just heard that Ty cut out from the highlights of the weekend baseball victory series at Auburn. And I got to tell you, the doubleheader on Friday was epic. For one thing, it was a heartbreaking loss in Game 1, which becomes the first game that Isaiah Campbell starts this year that the Razorbacks lose. And they had a 3-0 lead in the 5th inning with 2 outs, the 6th inning, pardon me, and Isaiah Campbell really rolling when he'd given up a little infield single. And then all of a sudden the bottom starts dropping out. By the end of the inning, the game is tied 3-3. Auburn scores 3 in the 8th, and Arkansas, just like they had over the 4-game losing streak, were completely unable to really get anything going in the last 4 innings against the Auburn bullpen. So they lose that game 6-3. It ended just short of 5 o'clock. So we start Game 2 at 5:41, and you had some back and forth. Arkansas had to score a run in the 8th inning to force extras, and then in extra innings in the 10th, Auburn thought they won the game on a close play at the plate on a 2-out single. Christian Franklin came up with one of the best throws I've seen a Razorback make all season. And bang, bang at the plate. Runner called safe. Auburn bursts out of the dugout and starts the dog pile. Dave Van Horn asks for a review. They review it, and the replay official in Birmingham overturns the call, so out at the plate. And Arkansas eventually ends up with a 2-run lead in the 12th. They allow 2 runs in the 12th inning without giving up a hit, so that was kind of soul-crushing a little bit. And then you see Arkansas end up winning in 15 innings anyway. And the crazy thing, when I was telling Ty about this between the commercial break here, I'm so stuck into doing baseball because I did 24 innings on Friday. So bases loaded for Auburn, 2 outs, 14th inning. Cole Ramage runs out of gas with a runner on base. He walks a man, hits another. Bases loaded. Dave Van Horn goes to Kevin Kopps. And you see this a lot when a pitcher might throw a warm-up to the backstop, and the Auburn fans start getting on him. Catcalling from the crowd, whistling at him and everything. And then I noticed over in the third base dugout, Auburn, the players in Auburn were acting like 6-year-olds all throughout the game. I mean, demonstratively showing their disapproval of strike calls at the plate and other calls there. They had taken exception to being hit by pitches at really stupid times to be taking exception to it. And they start catcalling out to Kevin Kopps, literally trying to goad him into walking the next batter so that Auburn wins the game. And Kopps, this was beautiful. I mean, it was 3 pitches. He struck that I can't even say it out, just like the line from Major League, and that was the moment that you kind of felt like the season could have started to crumble, but Kopps saved the moment. The next inning, Kjerstad leads off the 15th with a home run, couple of walks, a Matt Goodhart double makes it 9-6, and then you end the game with that diving catch by Dominic Fletcher, and then Arkansas dominates on Saturday with Patrick Wicklander. I think, I can't say cementing himself, but he definitely earned a Sunday start against Vanderbilt this coming weekend with 5 scoreless innings in an 8-0 shutout, where it was completely shocking that Arkansas shut Auburn out, using Wicklander for 5, Scroggins for 1, and Vermillion for 3. It was an epic weekend. I mean, they packed these 3 games. It was 33 innings into about, 33 innings were packed into 26 hours, and Arkansas wins 2 out of 3.
That's an iconic scene with Roger Dorn saying that. That's one of the best baseball scenes that I've ever taken in. Phil, I know we got Danny West coming up to talk spring ball, but I got to ask you this one question. I had no faith in you when you told me that if they were to lose game 1 with Isaiah Campbell, they could win the series. When you told me that, I didn't believe you at all. I got to give you your bones, man. You're right about that. They were able to come over a heartbreaking loss in Game 1 and rally and win Game 2, Game 3.
Now, a good reason why is because Auburn just is short on pitching. They've got an ace in Tanner Burns, but after that, they've got a couple of good relievers, but they've really been shaky on pitching enough. You don't have to be a great pitching team to win weekends. You got to have great pitching to go deep in the NCAA tournament and win the whole thing. But to win a weekend, sometimes you just got to be able to put up some runs. And to score 17 runs combined in the 2 victories is the reason that they won. You would have won with just 1 run on Saturday with Wicklander doing so well, but I think that the pitchers settled in because Arkansas had a 5-0 lead at the end of 5 innings. It had been a long time since they'd had a 5-run lead. So, it'll be different this next weekend. Vanderbilt has a better lineup than Auburn does. They got better pitching, so hey, at least you got another road series win, and that's 3 road series victories this year. And how many road series have they played? 3. That says backbone to me. We'll step aside. We're going to talk about the spring game. Danny West is joining us next on Halftime. This is ESPN Arkansas and HitThatLine.com.
No hidden agendas on this program. You're listening to Halftime.
I'm gonna ride till I can't no more.
Park in Fort Smith combines over 90 years of family-owned experience with the best sales and service teams around. And at Orr Auto Park, every new vehicle comes with a lifetime engine warranty, free maintenance for 2 years, and free car washes for the life of the vehicle. The largest selection, the biggest discounts, and the best buying experience around. These are some of the reasons why you always score more with Orr Auto Park in Fort Smith. Stop in today, or they are always open online 24/7 at OrAutoPark.com.
Kick off the season the right way with a new RV from Crabtree RV in Alma. Crabtree is extending our RV show pricing all season long. Check out our spring show specials like a Salem 207 with a slide and bunks for $147 a month. And with RV show pricing, you can take up to $10,000 off of MSRP on new travel trailers and up to $15,000 off new fifth wheels. And we'll still give you more for your trade than the other guys. At Crabtree RV in Alma, where your family's dreams come true.
Metal Mart offers high-quality prefabricated metal buildings, metal roofing, custom trim shop, carports, and more. They strive to be a company where contractors as well as do-it-yourselfers are welcome. Metal Mart assists you in calculating the materials needed to complete your project, all at a rate you can afford. Stop by 7320 Highway 271 South in Fort Smith or call 648-3342. You can also catch them online at metalmarts.com. Metal Mart, the right material for the right price.
ProCare Family Health with locations in Bonanza, Chaffee Crossing, and at their new location in Poto. 1103 Dewey Avenue in Poto is your primary care clinic, acting as a principal point of healthcare to patients of all ages. Their emphasis is to educate patients about their health and how to maintain it throughout their lifetime. They are devoted to the best research models so that their patients can get the highest standard of care. ProCare Family Health can assist with weight loss, testosterone injections, diabetes, and cortisone shots. ProCare Family Health, dedicating to meeting your healthcare needs. Protect your plants from weeds the attractive way with green thumb colored mulch from Meadows Lumber True Value. Right now, get 5 bags for just $15 while supplies last. It acts as a natural weed barrier, manages soil temperature, and helps retain moisture, especially during drier seasons of the year. 2 cubic foot bags come in your choice of red, black, and brown and include a 12-month color guarantee. At this great bargain of the month price, why not stock up today at Meadows Lumber True Value with locations in Alma, Ozark, and Clarksville.
Looking to upgrade your fleet or needing professional service to your existing fleet? Carco International of Fort Smith offers the latest trucks and equipment in the industry. With over 70 years in the trucking and equipment business, they have the experience to keep you on the road. Carco International offers professional service after the sale. Carco International Parts Department supplies all makes, parts, and gives expert service. Carco International is the answer. Leave it to the pros to keep you on the road. Carco International, located at 2721 Midland Boulevard in Fort Smith.
Halftime is brought to you by Orr Auto Park. Score more with Orr. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Tye Richardson.
Did Daniel Gabbard just go Euro step finger roll? Oh, no. You have got to be kidding me. That's an okey doke.
Let's talk with Danny West of 24/7 Sports. Covers Arkansas Razorback football, recruiting, all sorts of stuff. And good to join us here on Halftime. Danny, good to talk to you. How you been?
Hey, Phil, I'm doing well, man. I appreciate you guys having me. I'm a big fan of this show and what you guys are doing here, so always happy to join you guys.
Well, I appreciate that very much. And, you know, there's such a big weekend for Arkansas sports, you know, for the big three that we pay such close attention to. You got a new basketball head coach. Baseball takes 2 out of 3 from Auburn, and it really felt like, and I don't, you know, maybe it's my perspective because I'm with baseball, but it felt like the spring game kind of slid into the background a little bit, didn't it?
That's right. Yeah. You know what? Even from a recruiting standpoint, it seemed like the recruiting weekend kind of overshadowed the actual game, which that's kind of where we're at with college football today, Phil. I mean, you've seen it. I think TCU actually canceled their spring game this year. So it wouldn't surprise me if ultimately, you know, years from now, we don't even see spring games anymore. You start to see the attendance diminish a little bit around the country. And what do you really gain from going out there and watching those guys do a glorified practice, you know? So, you know, with the risk of injury and how much these guys are exposed to all this contact nowadays, and that being such a huge storyline in football across all levels, it wouldn't surprise me at all if that starts going away pretty soon. But you're absolutely right. Big weekend for the baseball team. Phil, I got to be honest, man, I was surprised that they were able to bounce back from that. You know, they dropped game 1. I was starting to worry about them a little bit. I mean, you could feel it start to slip. Of course, they came back game 2 and an incredible finish there, or a really lengthy game, I should say. And then to close it out like that, man, it was impressive. I get the sense they're starting to get back on track a little bit.
I do too, and part of it is I think moving Cody Scroggins, at least for last weekend, to the bullpen settles the bullpen down a little bit. If Wicklander can pitch the way he did, or anything close to that on Saturday, if you get another start like that from him, I think for me right now it's about settling down pitching for this team, and it looks like at least this last weekend it got settled a little bit.
I think you're right with that, but you know what? Another big test this weekend. Of course, as you know, Vanderbilt dropped that series against a really, really good Georgia team. So I'm curious. I'm curious to see how that unfolds for them in Nashville.
All right. Well, let me ask. Let's get to the spring game stuff here. So, I mean, it really seems, from what I gathered reading about it, because I didn't watch it, is the defense is ahead of the offense, and the offense still has a ways to go. Again, what can you gather from a glorified practice? But is that something you gathered?
Yeah, for the game itself, yes. On that particular day, that's exactly how I would sum it up. However, you've got to realize you didn't have Raheem Boyd, C.J. O'Grady, Mike Woods, and the offensive line has kind of been, interchangeable. They've had a lot of injuries, some sickness that they've dealt with, so they've still got a long way to go in figuring things out, but it would certainly help if they had all hands on deck Saturday. I think they probably could have put together a more impressive performance out there. But, just from where I sat, I thought the early enrollees, the true freshman guys, were one of the top storylines of the day. When you think about what Trey Knox did, he had a few big plays there, and Shamar Nash came away with a 48-yard reception. Devin Bush, the early enrollee at cornerback, he had a pick six against Ben Hicks, I believe. And then Eric Gregory had 2 sacks. Matayo Soli had a tackle for loss and a sack. Those guys, hey, they catch your attention very quickly, man. Some of those guys you take one look at and you just get the sense, okay, they are as good as advertised. And they've still got some playmakers on the way too, Phil. I mean, we're walking down on the sideline prior to the red-white game. You see Hudson Henry, Traylon Burks, Colin Clay, all these guys who are still going to come in this summer. That's a really good group so far, man.
Talking Arkansas spring game, Danny West, Hog Sports and 24/7 Sports. Danny, let's touch on Trey Knox. I feel like he's been the guy that's gotten the most attention this spring. Takes that little slant. I was surprised he didn't get it picked off, but he takes his slant to the house. It kind of reminded me of the touchdown pass Hunter Renfrow caught in the national championship game 2 years back against Bama, where he makes a cutback and then just takes it to the house. It's not often you see a guy that's 6'5" with that type of speed. Do you think he has the potential, even as a freshman, to be the best wide receiver on this football team?
He could, Ty. But I'll tell you what, there's a guy that we just mentioned, Traylon Burks, that, rightfully so. Everybody's talking about Trey Knox right now. Wait till you see this kid from Warren. I'm telling you, if he's fully healthy, coming back, of course, from an ACL tear a year ago, last fall, midway through the season, if Traylon Burks is healthy, he could be the guy. And I'm not just saying that because he's the in-state guy. He's a freak. He really is. He's something else now. But to your point, Trey Knox has been just outstanding. I think you hit it on the head there. He's surprisingly fluid. For a guy that size, I thought he might be a little bit, lumbering at times, but that hasn't been the case. He can make one step and really get upfield on you. So, hey, rightfully so. As I said, I think he's been the storyline of the spring, and he's earned that right. He's been really, really impressive. And it's not just a day here, a day there. It's every time we've been out there invited to practice, he does something that's just out of this world. And so I think you're on to something there. He could make a very strong early impression.
You mentioned Traylon Burks. You think about some of the studs that have come out of Warren, especially at the skill position, Chris Gregg, Jarius Wright, Greg Childs, and I saw a statistic, and I can't remember it, but Warren had like a ton of D1 football players come out, and it's such a small town. I know you cover recruiting in depth a lot more than Phil and I do. Is it just shocking? Like, what's in the water in Warren, Arkansas, man? How do they get like constant athletes year after year?
Yeah, I wish I had the recipe for it because you could spread it a little bit. But, yeah, I'm with you, buddy. It has been impressive. I think you've got to give a lot of credence to their head coach, Bo Hembry. He's done a fantastic job of not only producing players, but really good kids. He's kept them in line in the classroom. He's kept them out of trouble. All of those guys are really good kids, too. So that's part of it. But, I wish I had an answer. But you look at places like Greenwood, Junction City has had quite a few. Those small little towns, a couple of places in East Arkansas. Now, if you could translate that to some of your bigger cities like Little Rock, Fort Smith, even Northwest Arkansas to a certain extent, then you're really rolling because, over the last 10, 15 years, it really has been those small, very rural towns in Arkansas that have produced really the best players.
Danny West joining us right now. I want to get back to the spring game for a minute here because I thought that maybe, the thing that everybody be paying attention to was how Ben Hicks throws the ball. And it looked like Jones got most of the reps, but what did you think from the quarterback position, specifically from Ben Hicks? Because we know that it'll be him and Nick Starkel competing for the starting job.
Yeah, he was okay. I mean, I wouldn't say he was, great by any means. I thought he missed some throws. He had some sail on him, but he also had a couple that I thought were probably catchable balls down the field. Davion Warren probably could have came away with one. I'm missing another one down the field there, but they missed a couple of opportunities that I think probably would have excited people a little bit more, but I thought it was interesting that Nick Starkel was standing down there on the field, and he's kind of the guy who's coming in, based on that one performance. And granted, Ben Hicks has been pretty solid throughout the spring, but based on that one day where Nick Starkel is standing back there, he's got to be feeling pretty good about this thing. I don't think it's locked up by any means. We shall see.
It's so early to do it, and I know you'll be asked this question again once you're getting into August, but do you see any clear front runner for the quarterback position?
Well, I still think it probably you have to lean toward Hicks just based on his knowledge of the offense, being here in spring ball. Sure, you would have to give an early slight nod to him, but, when I take a step back and look at it, Nick Starkel is probably the more talented, pure talent guy, bigger arm, probably a higher ceiling. But, then again, it's tough to replace that experience that Ben Hicks has had. A clear front runner, probably Hicks at this point, but again, Nick Starkel hasn't showed up yet.
So there was a little over 10,000 announced for the spring game on Saturday, and the defense won the ball game. Danny, based on the performance, do you think fans are more excited or less excited about after what they saw on Saturday?
Well, I got to be honest. I was surprised by the turnout. I thought it would have been a really, really good turnout for a team that's slowly rebuilding. Beautiful day for the most part in Fayetteville. It did get a little bit chilly, I guess. It started to sprinkle towards the end of the game, but I was surprised, to be honest with you. For people sitting back watching that game on TV, they're probably either less excited or about the same level of excitement as they had prior to kickoff of that game because, they didn't show a lot. It wasn't a game that included just a ton of big plays, which nowadays in football, that's what excites fans for the most part. So, yeah, probably not. They're probably not feeling just fantastic, after that game. But then again, they didn't show a lot, and they didn't have all of their best players on the field. So who knows? That's why I hate spring games. We can talk about them forever, but what did we really learn? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know Phil and I have touched on. You're really going to learn about this football team when they go into Oxford week 2, the college football
That's
season.
Right.
But until then, it's just kind of smoke and mirrors to that point. And kind of to touch on that, Danny, Arkansas fans, I feel like they're indifferent about the season at this point. Yes, you've really improved at the quarterback position. Yes, you've gotten one of the better recruiting classes that you've had, not only in Chad Morris's obviously in his second year, but in the Arkansas football recruiting era. What are you thinking about fans thinking heading into this season? What's it going to take for them to hop on the Chad Morris bandwagon and think that he's going to turn this thing around?
Well, I'm not sure there's even a hard number that you can put on it. I'm not even sure they absolutely have to make a bowl game. Now, granted, that's what everybody in Arkansas wants. You want to get to any bowl game. Yeah. It doesn't matter if it's Shreveport, Birmingham. Doesn't matter in year 2. After coming off a 2-10 season like that, you just want to see a dramatic increase of competition. You can't take a 38-0, a 52-6. You can't let games get away from you like that. At least be competitive, be knocking on the door of a bowl game and postseason play, and I think people will be excited. But Arkansas fans are just tired of being embarrassed, and last year was very embarrassing. Yeah, you give them a pass a little bit because it is year 1 with such a drastic change in philosophy. But for the most part, man, I think you've got to go out, certainly got to win more games. I'm not sure exactly how many, but just stop embarrassing the state, man. Stop taking it on the chin like that. You can't keep doing that.
I think that's very well said. Stop embarrassing the state. I agree. That's, again, couldn't have said it any better. Danny, it's a pleasure as always. Thanks so much, and looking forward to the next time.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you all.
You got it. Danny West covering Arkansas athletics, Hog sports, and 24/7 sports. And I want to talk to anybody out there that is interested maybe in getting involved in real estate, buying, selling, investing. Call Quantum Property Services. They're encompassing all your property needs. Right now, it's the time to get with their real estate pros to find your new home because interest rates are low. That means you get more house for your money, but you need a pro to help you through the process, and there are seasoned pros that know their stuff at Quantum Real Estate. They'll guide you through all of it with confidence, and if you're thinking about getting into real estate investing, one call does it all. That's Quantum Real Estate Services. They'll find the right property or properties, make it hassle-free, managing those properties for you. Call them at 479-434-6860 or go to quantumpropertyservicesinc.com. Wrap up the first hour of halftime after the break on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
No hidden agendas on this program. You're listening to Halftime.
Hi, I'm Lisa Hinton. You asked, and we listened. New financing options available now at Champ Hinton Enterprises. Can you believe payments starting at $150 a month? 5-minute credit approvals and 0 down with trade-ins. Come find out for yourself why we have been serving families in the River Valley for over 38 years with over 35,000 cars, trucks, and SUVs sold. We treat you like family. Champ Hinton Enterprises, I-540 at the Arcoma exit or champhinton.com.
Spring into color at the paint store in Van Buren. Your favorite choice for inspiration in choosing those vibrant colors from Richard's Paints to finish your warm weather renovations. The paint store in Van Buren is contractor friendly and special orders don't upset them. Sue and Vicky, with over 30 years of experience, welcome all your painting questions and will help you feel confident in your choices of Richard's Paints. The paint store is at 1414 Fayetteville Road in Van Buren. Come and see them or check them out on Facebook today.
You know, a night out with friends can be so much more. Upgrade your evening at 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge on the Avenue. Rediscover life's simple pleasures. Dial back, slow down, and immerse yourself in what true relaxation can be. Top shelf wines and liquors, premium beers, world-class cigars, all in an atmosphere that feels less like a lounge and more like a destination. Sample, indulge, escape. 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge. Upgrade your night on the Avenue.
If you needed major surgery, you probably wouldn't choose a doctor who's never been to medical school. So when your car needs major repairs after a collision, why would you take your car to a body shop that's never been trained? Evans Body Shop is among only 10% of collision repair businesses to meet the industry's highest training standards as a gold class shop. We know the latest repair techniques, how to find hidden damage, and how to repair your car's critical safety features so they work properly again. With the safety of your vehicle and your family at stake, choose trained repair professionals. Choose Evans Body Shop,
where we meet the nicest people by accident.
Tommy Kraft for the Fence Man. Do you own a business that needs more security? Or maybe you just want a better look and more curb appeal? A new fence from the Fence Man can give you both. In business for more than 40 years, the Fence Man can custom install any type of fencing, gates, controlled access, and card readers. Call the Fence Man for a quick, no obligations quote. 479-782-3936. That's 782-3936. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
True Grit Running Company is where perseverance meets passion. Whether you're training for your next marathon or just comfortable shoes to keep up with your kids, we have the gear to help you reach your goals. With our slow motion gait analysis and our extensive product knowledge, we have the right pair of shoes for you. We also carry apparel, nutrition, hydration accessories, injury prevention gear, and recovery products. We offer classes, workshops, and group runs. Lace up, show up, and get your grit on. True Grit Running Company, 6808 Rogers Avenue, Suite B, behind Chick-fil-A.
Hi, I'm Kelly Smith, owner of Dixie Digital Imaging, the Xerox authorized agency and dealer in the River Valley. The 29 new models of Xerox business printers and copiers represent a quantum leap forward in office technology. They are designed for the way we work today, safely and securely. They're powered by Xerox Connect Key technology. They're innovative and affordable with both black and white and color devices available. For more information, give Dixie Digital a call at 783-6600 or visit us at dixiedigital.com. Dixie Digital Imaging, bringing Xerox document innovations to the River Valley.
Looking for a high-quality and affordable pre-owned vehicle? Hertz Car Sales offers a wide selection of high-quality cars, SUVs or trucks, amazing customer service, where you can buy direct and save on every car. With inventory arriving daily, why not make the short drive to 2810 Midland Boulevard? Or give them a call at 783-1722. You can also check them out on the web at buyfromhertz.com. Trade-ins are always welcome. Stop by Hertz Car Sales today. You'll be glad you did.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Tye Richardson.
Listen to the crowd as they cheer Sidney Moncrief. Eddie Sutton and Moncrief on the sideline as Sidney will get a standing ovation here as he wraps up a great home career.
Hey, how about Sidney Moncrief in the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame?
Woo!
That's outstanding. Really, really proud. All right, we got a caller, and I forgot his name again, Ty. You're going to have to tell me over the air.
Brian in Magazine.
It's only the third time he said it. Brian's in Magazine. What's going on, Brian?
Hey, I'm just happy to get to hear you guys. I'm driving home right now, and I had something on my mind. You mentioned the red-white game. I did watch it, and it was a little underwhelming. It's really hard to know how to feel about it. Is the offense stumbling? Is the defense improving? And I just wondered if they've ever looked into the possibility or how viable it would be to possibly do a true scrimmage against another team in the spring. Like possibly they could bring in ASU, and that could be the way that Arkansas and Arkansas State could, interact. They could have a little scrimmage in the spring, and maybe it could help both teams develop a little bit and really kind of see what you look like against competition and not just, this self-feeding cycle.
I think that, that's not a bad idea. Just a matter of football's a little different to be able to pull that off like you do in basketball or like you do in baseball. So that's an interesting thought, though, because obviously a spring game doesn't quite have the pull that it used to have. We've got to pull into hour number 2, so stick around on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
Hug Chevrolet Buick GMC has got your next vehicle already sitting in our lot. All you have to do is make the short drive to Charleston and pick out your new or premium pre-owned vehicle from Hug Chevrolet Buick GMC. Red tag prices on every vehicle and no hidden fees. Just a straightforward sales process that allows the customer to get in the driver's seat before, during, and after the sale. So take the short drive to Hug Chevrolet Buick GMC in Charleston or visit us online at huggm.com. Hug Chevrolet Buick GMC, the River Valley's favorite place to get a hug.
World Class Fitness in Fort Smith is not like other gyms. Open 24/7 so you can work out however, whenever you want. With women's only workout area, free childcare, racquetball courts, and large free weight area, this is the gym for you. World Class Fitness is not that gym. There are no limitations to your goals, gains, or success. No contract and special discount pricing options available. So visit WCFit.com or stop by World Class Fitness today. Don't forget to try clean cooking for your meal prep needs.
It's time to gear up for your favorite season, off-roading season. Because with BF Goodrich Mud-Terrain TAKM3 tires, you can take on the tough. Between March 20th and April 10th, 2019, get a $50 or $70 reward card after submission with purchase of 4 new BF Goodrich passenger or light truck tires. What are you building for?
Get BF Goodrich tires from Southern Tire Mart, 9700 Highway 271 South at I-540 in Fort Smith.
See bfgoodrichtires.com/promo for complete details. A full list of qualifying tires. Offer expires 4/10/2019. Void where prohibited.
At Michelob Ultra, we know it's not just about how much you work out every day. It's about how much you work into every day, too. So we brew our beer for those who realize that expending calories should never come at the expense of spending time with friends. Those who understand that just because you work out doesn't mean you can't go out. And that's why we brew Michelob Ultra to have 95 calories, 2.6 carbs, and a crisp, clean taste. Michelob Ultra, brewed for those who live fit, live fun, live Ultra. Enjoy responsibly. 2018 Michelob Ultra Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri. 95 calories, 2.6 carbs, 0.6 grams of protein, and 0 grams fat for 12 ounces.
Arts is more than barbecue and burgers. As a matter of fact, Arts has some of the best fried shrimp, grilled tilapia, and salmon you will find. And don't forget the catfish at Arts. Full-size meaty fillets, fried crispy golden brown, with hush puppies and all the fixins. And every Friday is Catfish Friday, featuring their catfish special at lunch and the all-you-can-eat Friday night special. Arts, more than just great barbecue and burgers. Try one of the shrimp or fresh fish entrees at Arts Barbecue on Rogers Avenue next to Aaron's in Fort Smith.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
Weather overnight, some showers will be possible along with a few thunderstorms, lows 55 to 60. Some clouds early in the day tomorrow and then clearing through the afternoon, turning mostly sunny. Our highs in the mid-70s. Mid-50s and clear Monday night, sunny and upper 70s Tuesday. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
Weather is brought to you by Hertz Car Sales, 2810 Midland Boulevard in Fort Smith. You can call them today at 783-1722 or check them out online at buyfromhertz.com.
I hate everything you just said. KERX Paris Fort Smith. This is Halftime, coming at you from the Bush and Bushlight Studios on ESPN 95.3.
They're hilarious.
Good morning, Vietnam! Broadcasting live from the Bud Light Studio.
I love Arkansas. I love everything here. Give me that thing here. Woo!
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Why did that happen in Fayetteville, Arkansas?
Dixon Street. It'll get you.
Streaming live from
Hit that line.
.com.
You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
This is Halftime.
Man, that ball got out of here in a hurry. You know, anything travels that far, ought to have a damn stewardess on it, don't you think?
With Phil Elson.
Bill, I think you do a spectacular job.
And Tye Richardson.
Tye, I love the way you talk, buddy.
Pack your bags, load them up, gas the car, and raise that bright red flag to the skies. 423 miles away, the Emerald City awaits. The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Hey, hold on, it's almost halftime.
Beautiful Monday across the Natural State, and we appreciate you tuning in on Halftime on Coach Day. Well, I guess it's Coach Day +1 with the hiring of Eric Musselman announced yesterday, and he'll be introduced. I already feel like he's been introduced to Razorback fans, though not in a formal way, not the way that a university would usually introduce a coach. I think last week it was very much an informal process that I think a lot of radio shows like ours kind of introduced Eric Musselman to the fan base. Of course, that was in anticipation maybe of a Tuesday press conference. But yesterday he was introduced on social media. Today, in about 2 hours, right here on ESPN Arkansas, he'll be introduced in the formal way it better be on that stage at Bud Walton Arena, right? It better be on that thing where they'd set it up a week ago. He's got to be there, and then do the meet and greet behind it. And didn't Coach Musselman also say on his tweet announcing essentially that he's going to be the coach that he needs somebody to teach him how to call the Hogs?
He needs help.
I think he'll get a crash course today, and that's how you can tell. So a lot of people will say, how do you win the press conference? You win the press conference at Arkansas by calling the Hogs properly, or at least not looking awkward the first time you do it. Everybody looks awkward the first time they do it, right?
Yeah, you just got to put some emphasis to it, some vigor. Unlike Dana Altman, who you can see through video archives from various news outlets, that he looks like the most disinterested coach of all time giving that hog call. Have you seen that video by chance, Phil?
I remember that, yeah. And you can see in his eyes, like, what have I really signed up for?
Like, what did I get myself into with these Razorback fans? But, yeah, Musselman, you talked about in the first segment, how passionate, how into social media, and it just seems like that's really a part of him, not only his coaching philosophy, but his interaction with the fans. So I think he's going to bring it today on that stage, Phil. And we have it, as you mentioned, on Ruskin and Zach. They're going to play the press conference in its entirety to start out the show. So we'll have that for you on ESPN Arkansas.
Oh, those lucky guys. They couldn't do that thing at 1 o'clock today. That's the easiest thing you could ever do in a radio show. Not like I'm criticizing them for that, because that's what people will want to hear. But there's nothing better than just being able to turn the mic on, walk away, and let the coach and the other media members ask all the questions and let him do his thing. I mean, that's going to be at least what? I mean, those things go for 30 minutes at the very least.
Yeah.
At the very least.
I mean, it's an introductory press conference, so they will give the media a large allotted amount of time just because they want to make sure to get all these questions in, get as many stories as is out there. And I know I mentioned in this first segment, the national media, don't be surprised if there's not a national media member or two that make their way to Fayetteville, Arkansas for this press conference, because this is an impact hire. Now, it's not to the degree that you would have gotten if you would have gotten Chris Beard. I don't know if it's the same degree as you would have brought in Greg Marshall, but it's still an impact hire from the national landscape. And again, that's why I think John came into the production room this morning and telling me that his poll was at 96%, because these national people who Arkansas fans are looking to as, hey, we don't know much about this guy. Let's see what these guys say. It seems like all of them thinks it's going to be a good hire. That's why I think you're going to get a good reception from the fan base today. Not to the degree you got from Mike Anderson, because that was just like a coming home party for Arkansas fans. But I think you'll have a solid turnout today in Bud Walton Arena.
So I think that's a good lead into our 3 up, 3 down for a Monday.
Strike 3. Good morning, good afternoon, good night.
What does 3 up and 3 down mean to you, Airman?
End of an inning. Strike 3.
And my first up is something I alluded to in the first hour, and it's one specific aspect of Eric Musselman's coaching history that I think stands apart from other head coaches at Arkansas and bodes well for his ability to win win games, maybe before you expect them to actually start winning. And it's this background as a talent developer in minor league basketball, in the CBA. This is somebody that's already worked his way up to the top level of coaching in the NBA. And I know it was just 3 years, but how many NBA coaches stick around for very long in that cutthroat league? But he'd made his name on developing players in the old minor league of basketball and winning games there too, doing both at the same time. And I think that, look, even the players that are coming back, look at some of the things that have to be improved upon. But there are things to work with this group of players, and we've gotten into this quite a bit. There's a lot to work with Reggie Chaney if you can keep him on the court. There's a lot to work with there. Might need to be a little bit stronger, but goodness, he looks like he could be a real power forward. There's a lot to work with Desi Sills, with Isaiah Joe, with Jalen Harris, if you can improve that jump shot. And I don't know, there's something about where Eric Musselman comes from the time spent and life spent around his father, doing essentially the same job, developing talent in minor league basketball and working up to the NBA. I think that this is the sort of coach that can get the most out of players, really get them to improve over the 1 or 2 years they're even there. Now, I know that part of his philosophy of building a team is also through a little bit of that NBA prism of free agency. And I think that's brilliant in today's game of college basketball and really college sports overall. It shouldn't matter how you build your team. As long as you build a winning team, they keep their nose clean, they go to class, well, I mean, essentially you still have to be able to pass open you still have to be able to keep your APR where it needs to be, right? I mean, that was one thing that Mike inherited. You lose some scholarships, and you can't let that happen. So it is a part of it, but it's an understanding of there's more than one way to win, to build a winning program, and I think that this is a guy that, and I also wonder if this is one reason why a lot of transfers wanted to play for him, because they see somebody that knows how to develop talent, that knows how to get somebody that might not have been developing at one program and get him to develop with him. So I think this background will be very good for Arkansas basketball and help them compete really in what is this SEC now. With what you've got coming in and already here. It's an amazing league that he's coming into, and I feel like Arkansas has the right coach to compete with everybody else in the SEC right now.
Here's a stat of the day for you, Phil. 11 of the 14 SEC head coaches have been to a Sweet 16. 11.
Wow. There's 14 teams, right?
Yeah. How about
Weren't
that?
we just bragging earlier about how many SEC baseball teams were ranked in the top 25? It was 11. You got 11 coaches now that have Sweet 16 experience?
Yeah, 11.
Amazing.
And the only ones that I believe haven't, there's obviously Jerry Stackhouse entering his first year as a collegiate head coach. I think Kermit Davis has only been to a round of 32 with Middle Tennessee State. I think he's the other one, and I'm blanking on the other one. But those are the only ones, which is just incredible to think about. And then to your point, so Cody and Caleb Martin, when they transferred from NC State, talking about how he can say, we're going to be a great place for transfers. All these different people were selling on Caleb Martin, and he wanted to go with his brother Cody. Caleb was the more talented player. Caleb was the one that was going to get NBA looks. Musselman had a plan for Cody Martin. And that's why he swayed Caleb and Cody to come to Nevada, because no one else focused on Cody, his twin brother. And Cody ended up having a really good couple seasons at Nevada because Eric Musselman had sets and plays for him and stuff for him to succeed on, not just his brother. That's a great point you made, because we saw that with those twins, how he was able to pull them in, and they had some solid careers in Nevada.
All right, my first, and by the way, kudos to grad transfers. Chloe Jackson, who hit the winning basket in the women's championship game yesterday for Baylor. She was on her third program. She started at NC State, then goes to LSU, and then hits the big shot for Baylor. So again, and that's a school that's tough to get into. That's a program that wins a lot, and I'll get into some talk about Kim Mulkey in a little bit. My first down, early celebrations at Auburn, and I usually wouldn't be. I don't like to take glory in others' failures, but I saw Auburn's baseball team dogpile in front of home plate, thinking they'd won the extra inning game on Friday, and then with the review at home plate, and it gets overturned, and you're just like, that was where everything really stopped, and they celebrated a win that they didn't get. Beautiful, beautiful, and I took extra joy in that because there's something about the atmosphere Saturday night in the Auburn stands and in their dugout that just felt it was too much. It was snotty. It was sixth grade like. It was disrespectful. And so, I don't know. I felt like they earned that punch in the gut. And then to see Toomer's Corner, which I went to see when did I go there? I went there Thursday before the rainout was announced, they went and they TP'd the trees right after the foul was called in the corner. Oh, and they thought they'd won a game that they hadn't won, and the TPs all over the trees, and it took them about 3 minutes to realize that they'd actually lost. How quickly can you get toilet paper down from trees? It takes a while.
Yeah, it was tough. And there's an iconic picture that Bleacher Report put out when Kyle Guy steps to the line. He's like an 81% free throw shooter. Bryce Brown in the background is holding up the choke symbol.
Oh.
And then the next picture that they couple it with is Bryce Brown sitting on the floor with the ball bouncing by him after he just lost. So, yeah, that was tough for Auburn fans. Tough Saturday for Auburn fans. Phil, my first up, Sidney Moncrief, we mentioned it right before the break. He's in the Hall of Fame, and I was so happy. We had him on last Monday, and he was talking about how there's a lot of great players in the Hall of Fame. Really comes across as a humble guy. But for him to get in the Hall of Fame, I know a lot of Arkansas Razorback fans were happy, Milwaukee Bucks fans were happy, and he was deserving of the Hall of Fame. I know Eddie Sutton was not able to get in this year, and his family's disappointed with a lot of other Razorback, Oklahoma State, and other fans, but good for Sidney Moncrief getting in the Hall of Fame.
He's the first Razorback basketball player to be inducted.
I believe so.
Mm-hmm. Isn't that something? You got a couple in Canton. I don't think there are any major leaguers from Arkansas that have been enshrined in Cooperstown,
which is kind of surprising, right?
Well, yes and no. I mean, remember the program really didn't get really going until the 70s. There've been some really good players with some great moments. But you haven't had maybe the career longevity that you would need. And, Benintendi, he's still at the start of his career. Who knows what's going to happen there? But, yeah, no Arkansas baseball players enshrined in Cooperstown. I think the two out of football are Dan Hampton and Lance Allworth. And now you got Sidney Moncrief for basketball.
Is Steve Atwater on there, too?
Well, I don't think he's been a finalist a couple of times.
That's right.
I remember you were talking about that a couple months ago, but he hasn't been inducted yet. So
You're right.
That's great for Sidney Moncrief. What's your first down?
First down, did you read the Pete Thamel Yahoo Sports article kind of scathing the national championship game that we're going to watch tonight?
No, but I've heard a lot of talk about it because it's two so-called not brand names. It's two defensively oriented teams. And I guess people want, some game that's in the 80s instead of a game that's in the 50s and the 60s. So, but he's not the only one who's been kind of trashing this matchup.
No, he hasn't. There's other college basketball people that have. And I really genuinely like Pete Thamel for the most part. He was the one that was talking about Arkansas recruiting. He's really good at going on in-depth stuff along with Pat Forty and Dan Wetzel. They have a trio over there at Yahoo Sports that's basically untouchable when it comes to touching on college football, basketball, baseball stories. But he's writing this article. Here's my take on it. these two teams that we're going to get to watch tonight, they outworked better basketball teams and arguably better coaches to get to this point. I mean, you think about who, like, Virginia had to go through and Texas Tech had to go through. Virginia had to beat Carson Edwards, who was just on fire this NCAA tournament. It was incredible. He's going to the NBA draft. You also had to beat the team of destiny in Auburn and get through some other battles. Texas Tech, you got to beat Cassius Winston, who was playing like the best player in the NCAA tournament, and they had just previously been Duke, so they were on it high as well. And then you also had to beat John Beilein in Michigan. I mean, these were not easy roads to the NCAA tournament. I know people wanted to see what Virginia would do against the likes of Tennessee, and Purdue beat Tennessee on that controversial call. But they beat better teams. They beat better coaches. You can't fault them, even though they play a certain style of play. You can't be mad at that. Now, I'd love to see more of a blue blood in this Final Four. I would love to see Zion Williamson in this National Basketball Association championship.
But we complained so much about this being a so-called chalky tournament that it was, that there really weren't any major upsets over the first few rounds, and now you end up with a championship game of two. I saw this is the first time since Bird Magic that neither of the teams in the national championship game have ever played for the title before.
Yeah,
I mean, think about that. We're talking about 40 years. There's always been at least one team in that championship game that has played for the title. So there weren't a lot of upsets in this tournament. So, Auburn was the supposed outlier. Texas Tech was kind of an outlier too because they'd never really been to that level, but these were really great teams. This is kind of fun to see, perhaps the start of great programs that who knows who the next level of blue bloods are going to be. And it's so coach based, and part of it is Coach K's not going to be at Duke for another 6-7 years. Roy Williams and Bill Self and Coach Cal. Coach Cal's got this lifetime contract. How long is that really going to be? All these blue blood programs, I'd be surprised if they're still at the top of the heap in another 6-7 years. Maybe this is where you get a program that was an also-ran that eventually turns into a great program, because Chris Beard looks like he's got everything that you need for staying power to keep a program where it is. And I know isn't this the first Final Four for Tony Bennett at Virginia?
Mm-hmm.
But they've got a pretty great track record over these last 5-6 years. That's a program that can self-sustain. So I think this is really cool. So it was a chalky tournament, but you end up with a non-chalky championship game anyway. All right, second up. It kind of goes to your second up, so we can combine these two. I know Baylor defeats Notre Dame in a great championship game yesterday. There was a heartbreaking moment at the end where Enrique misses the 2 free throws with about a second left. She could have tied it. She's an 81% career free throw shooter. But my second up is Kim Mulkey. Kim Mulkey, the longtime head coach at Baylor, now is one of 3 coaches in NCAA Women's Division I basketball that's won 3 championships, and she's actually won 6, but 3 as the head coach at Baylor, 2 as an assistant. 1 as an assistant at La Tech and 2 as a player at La Tech. So she's won 6, but you've got Gino Auriemma, 11 titles at UConn, Pat Summitt, 8 at Tennessee, and then there's Kim Mulkey with 3 at Baylor. And just think about what else has happened on that campus while she's been the head coach since 2000. You had the men's basketball scandal with the murder cover-up, with Dave Bliss as the head coach, everything that went down with the sexual assaults at the football program, and really that entire athletic department was brought to its knees, with the exception of women's basketball, which has stayed at an extremely high level. And Kim Mulkey is on the short list of one of the greatest basketball coaches, male or female, in the history of the college game. So she's my second up. Second down, Mississippi State right-hand pitcher Peyton Plumlee. So Mississippi State took 2 out of 3 from Tennessee over the weekend, but the only game they lost 2-1, and it was Plumlee that was the pitcher, and he pitched mostly well. He went 5 1/3 innings, gave up just 2 hits and 3 walks, but in the 5th inning, he's got a couple of men on base, no out. Tennessee bunts, and Plumlee picks the ball up, throws to first base for the force out, and Tennessee now has runners second and third. So the Mississippi State first baseman throws the ball back to Plumlee, and some pitchers will throw the ball away because they want a new baseball. You got to call timeout before you do it. Peyton Plumlee did not call timeout. He throws the ball into the dugout, and the umpire says, whoa, hold on a second, dead ball. You get 2 bases when the ball is thrown out of play. Both runners come in and score on this dunderheaded play. They lose 2-1 on this. I've never heard of something like this before, so I guess the next time Peyton Plumlee wants and that's just a fun name to say, and I guess I'll say it in a couple of weekends when Arkansas plays Mississippi State, you might want to call timeout next time, Mr. Plumlee.
Just a word of advice.
Yes.
I'd agree with you on that. Yeah, I'm going to go in accordance with what you said. Baylor women win the national championship. My dad, obviously an alum there, he was very excited. He only gets hyped about 2 things in sports, Baylor sports and USA Soccer. That's it.
That's such an interesting combo.
I know. It's funny. So, yeah, I'm happy for my dad that his team won the national championship because he follows them pretty closely. My second down, Phil, people were angry about the Eric Musselman hire, not for an actual relevant reason or an actual reason that makes sense, but it's because they didn't get Chris Beard. He's not coming here.
Boy.
There was less than a 5% chance that he was going to come here if he had lost on Saturday night. But my goodness, y'all, he's in the national championship. You're not touching him, and you're not going to wait on him until after this game to talk to him. He's not coming from a national championship program at Lubbock, and I know it's weird saying he's not leaving Lubbock, Texas for Fayetteville, but that's just true. So if you're going to be mad about Eric Musselman's hype, you can talk about the assistant coaches. You can talk about he's very hard to work for at times. You can talk about, hey, you're not a fan of his recruiting tactics, but you can't be mad solely on the basis that Arkansas didn't get Chris Beard. That's just bad. It's not a good take, and that's my second down.
It was pretty much a back to reality thing. You know,
Yeah.
once they even got to the Final Four, you just kind of felt, man, it really would be a long shot. But maybe if they're not playing for the national title, but obviously not going to happen. Third up, Arkansas designated hitter Matt Goodhart. He, in the series at Auburn, 6 base hits in 3 games, 2 doubles, came really close to that first homer. Those homers are going to come. I can't wait to watch this kid hit for the next 2 years because he's going to have to go in the draft next season. Goodhart can really swing the bat. He's got some of the best bat speed on this team, and he leads all SEC players in SEC games with a .462 batting average. That's 18 hits and 39 at-bats, and he's got the top on-base percentage amongst all players in SEC games. I'm not just talking about on Arkansas's team. I'm talking about all 14 teams in the SEC in league games. So facing the best pitchers that these batters will be facing, Goodhart's the best, at least for now, with a .462 batting average and a .553 on base. And that leads to my third down, which is continuously the SEC West. The SEC West right now, just going by the records, is really having some trouble. Florida got blown out by Ole Miss in 3 games. They lost all 3, 12-3, 16-4, and 12-10. So it looks like Ole Miss, with their wake-up against Arkansas last weekend, they carried it into this weekend against Florida. The SEC West has 6 teams with winning records in conference, and the SEC East has 2. That's Georgia and Vanderbilt. Pretty much is coming down to those 2 teams, with Vanderbilt 2 games in back of the Bulldogs. But the SEC West is a combined 49, 34, and 1. Arkansas, LSU, and Ole Miss tied atop the West at 8 and 4, half a game in front of A&M. And the SEC East, 34, 47, and 1. So that's right, SEC West, they have won 15 games more than they've lost. SEC East has lost 13 more games than they've won.
You got to give it to Texas Tech, and they're going to be my third up. They canceled classes starting at 5 p.m. today and then all day on Tuesday. None of the academic buildings are going to be open from 6 p.m. tonight to 8 a.m.
recovery period.
Oh, my goodness, yeah. Can you imagine? I know you saw the videos of the destruction that was going on in Lubbock this weekend after they advanced to the championship.
I just thought that was, routine stuff that went on in Lubbock.
It was incredible, man. I'm sitting there watching this and just like, man, I can't even imagine what it would be like if Arkansas won a national championship in football, basketball, or baseball. People would be going berserk. I wish I could see that scene on Dixon Street. I just don't think I'm ever going to in my lifetime, unfortunately. All right, third down, Phil. Johnny Manziel told Dan Patrick and his Danettes when he went on the show that he wants to be referred as John. Now, he's always going to be Johnny Football to me, Phil. As you referred to the arena with no teams, that's always going to be Alltel Arena to me. I'm not going to call him John Manziel. I'm going to call him Johnny Football.
I'm sorry, John. You can't ever glom on to the nickname Johnny Football and then ever. I don't care if you're If you're 45, if you're 65, if you're 85 years old, you are never going to be John. And it's not just him. I feel like it's impossible to have that nickname, that name with the Y at the end of your name, and ever go back to something that's not a Y at the end of your name.
That's like him going from a party club event planner to a desk job accountant and trying to switch up the two and trying to completely identify as a different persona when you've been known as a persona for so long.
Billy Ripken tried to do that. Nobody ever called him Bill Ripken. Ricky Henderson was not going to be Richard Henderson, and Jimmy Dykes was definitely not Jim Dykes. All right, so we got to go to a break, but before we do, Ty, we've got a new sponsor. Tell them about him.
Yeah, National Park College is hosting Nolan Richardson. It's coming up Tuesday, April 30th at 6 p.m. in Kettle National Park Gym. Tickets are $40, and it includes dinner. You got a chance to see a guy that's took Arkansas to its only national championship at basketball and so many Hall of Fames. You can purchase your tickets online at mp.edu/athletics. The proceeds from the event will support Nighthawk Athletics. Again, if you want to get tickets, you can purchase them online at mp.edu/athletics for your chance to see Nolan Richardson.
All right, we're going to step aside for a break. Got some Final Four recap to talk about as halftime continues on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
Don't spend life sitting on your hands. You're listening to Halftime. This is the Morning Rush.
Eddie in Clarksville.
Tupac said this: we wouldn't ask why the Rose took through the concrete had damaged pedals. We would all love his will to reach the sun. We're gonna bust through that concrete and start winning on a high level again.
It's not what you say, it's how you say it. I never heard Tupac say that.
Don't miss the Morning Rush. Weekdays from 6 till 9. Only on ESPN 95.3.
Kick off the season the right way with a new RV from Crabtree RV in Alma. Crabtree is extending our RV show pricing all season long. Check out our spring show specials like a Salem 207 with a slide and bunks for $147 a month. And with RV show pricing, you can take up to $10,000 off of MSRP on new travel trailers and up to $15,000 off new fifth wheels. And we'll still give you more for your trade than the other guys. At Crabtree RV in Alma, where your family's dreams come true.
Park in Fort Smith combines over 90 years of family-owned experience with the best sales and service teams around. And at Orr Auto Park, every new vehicle comes with a lifetime engine warranty, free maintenance for 2 years, and free car washes for the life of the vehicle. The largest selection, the biggest discounts, and the best buying experience around. These are some of the reasons why you always score more with Orr Auto Park in Fort Smith. Stop in today, or they are always open online 24/7 at OrAutoPark.com.
Frank Roll Furniture, with the best seats in the house for the month of April, is offering no sales tax and free delivery within 30 miles. Plus, yes, that's right, plus 15% off on all cash, check, or card sales, and 10% off on our in-store no credit check financing. Again, April, 15% off cash, check, or card, and 10% off our in-store no credit check financing with no sales tax and free delivery within 30 miles. Frank Roll Furniture, the best seats in the house. TVs and appliances excluded.
With low interest rates, the home of your dreams has never been more affordable. There's a lot of work to find that dream home, and you need a pro on your side, and that's what Quantum Real Estate has. Seasoned pros that know how to help you find the perfect home, guide you through the financing, and even help sell the house you're in. And if you're thinking about getting into real estate investing, don't go it alone. Get a pro on your side. Quantum Real Estate, a division of Quantum Property Services, encompassing all your property needs. Online at QuantumPropertyServicesInc.com, 479-434-6860.
Quantum.
Looking to find a team that gives you more than just a place to be a stylist? Supercuts team members take pride in maintaining a positive, professional, and creative workplace. Supercuts team members provide the highest quality for guests by attending training courses at our Hairstylist Academy. Supercuts has been the highest base paid in the market, including time off, commission-based performance pay, great tips, company-sponsored health insurance, and much more. Simply apply online at supercuts.com or contact Joe at 520-203-4316.
What happened to paying one price and getting everything included? You buy an airline ticket and pay extra to bring a change of clothes, book a hotel room, and you're shelling out for Wi-Fi and overpriced bottled water. Shipping and handling. Really? Imagine my delight when I found out roadside assistance is now included with my shelter insurance auto policy. So if I get a flat tire or need a jump, I just call and they take care of me. No additional cost. Some restrictions apply, so learn more at shelterinsurance.com.
Ask Shelter Agents Randy Milam or Brad Howe about a free insurance review.
Hi, I'm Lisa Hinton. You asked, and we listened. New financing options available now at Champ Hinton Enterprises. Can you believe payments starting at $150 a month? 5-minute credit approvals and 0 down with trade-ins. Come find out for yourself why we have been serving families in the River Valley for over 38 years with over 35,000 cars, trucks, and SUVs sold. We treat you like family. Champ Hinton Enterprises, I-540 at the Arcoma exit, or champhinton.com.
Halftime is brought to you by Orr Auto Park. Score more with Orr. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Tye Richardson.
And this one belongs to the Razorbacks. 1 run, 1 hit, and a runner stranded for Ole Miss in the 9th inning. The final score on a Friday night at Baum-Walker Stadium. Hawks 5, Ole Miss 3. Always love hearing those fireworks in the background at Baum-Walker Stadium. And tomorrow night, the Razorbacks host Oral Roberts for a regular season matchup, 6:30. Hopefully there'll be fireworks after that ball game. Definitely fireworks at the end of the Auburn-Virginia national semifinal.
Woo!
Oh yeah, some fireworks, and Bruce Pearl was fired up, and maybe he had a little reason to be fired up. Now there were the 2 controversial plays: the no call on the double dribble near half court, and then the call on the touch foul in the corner. And it's interesting with both of these plays because there's a lot of talk about, did you really know that was a double dribble when it occurred, or were you going by what you heard post game from Gene Steratore? I was on the plane. I was on the plane with the baseball team, so I did not watch it. None of us saw any of it. I just saw the replay, and had already by that time known it happened. I don't know if I would have known that that's double dribble right off of the bat with the officials. That's right on top of it. They've got to be on top of it on that moment. Obviously, that's a missed call. You go to the foul, and the idea is, that was definitely a foul. You can even see when the player's coming down and gets guy on the body that altered the direction of the shot. I mean, he was theoretically missed the shot because of that foul. But the other question is, do you call it at that time? The official's right there in the corner. He is right there to see it. He saw it. I don't know how you can't call it.
I thought it
was right down to it.
I thought it was 100% a foul. I agreed with Tommy 100%. Sometimes we disagree on stuff. He's obviously got the better edge when it comes to officiating calls. I'll give myself a little bit of a humble brag. When the ball went off Ty Jerome's foot and he picked it back up and started dribbling, I thought to myself, is that a double dribble? But Tommy even admitted the ref is anticipating the defender fouling Jerome. So he's almost not looking at anything else at that moment in time. And that's such a crucial down-the-line situation that even Tommy admitted, it's like, I wouldn't have called that. I would have gone over it. And unfortunately for the referees, it's not a reviewable, changeable play that they can go back and say, that's a double dribble. It's Auburn ball. Unfortunately for Bruce Pearl and the Tigers, they weren't able to get the victory. But, Phil, that was a clear foul. But here's how it sounded with Jim Nantz on the call.
Jerome to inbound. They got the lob. Looking. It's Guy from the corner. From the win. Hold on. Did I hear a whistle? Wow. We got a foul call.
I thought it was a clear foul, and I feel bad. You mentioned the Auburn fans that were celebrating. Did you see that Auburn fan pour beer on his head in the student section and then get arrested moments later?
That kind of went along with their premature dog pile at home plate with the premature TPing of the trees at Toomer's Corner. I did see that. And, again, I hate to, take glorifying somebody else's failures, but there were just failures on so many levels for Auburn athletics over the weekend.
Yeah, Texas Tech pretty much handled Michigan State defensively. They just locked them down. Cassius Winston was really the only offense that Michigan State had all night long. He had McQuaid, he wasn't shooting, and they just really didn't have anything else. But I know we got Brad Caldwell coming up here. But real quick, Phil, you got a prediction on the game tonight? I know you haven't been able to watch a lot of the games with baseball going on, but who you taking?
I think it's a tough call, really, because I watched most of the Texas Tech Michigan State game, and I'm really impressed with the way Texas Tech is able to control the tempo of a game, and that's what Virginia does so well too. So and Virginia's got a little of the feeling of the team of destiny because of how closely. Some of the two crazy ways they've won games. Right now, to me, Tech looks like the better team. I think they look like the better team. I don't know if I'd say they're the better coach team, but they're the better team I'm going to go with Texas Tech, but I think it'll be close because, I mean, does this game feel like it could be a race to 50?
Oh, race to 40, man. Are you kidding me? race to 40. This is going to be an ugly game.
It's a walking race if you're walking to 50 in the national title game.
And it's incredible to think about how Texas Tech lineup, if you look at their starting five, Phil, not a single player above 3 stars.
Yeah.
Matt Moody is an unranked star. You got Norenz Odiase, who's a 2-star. If I could say his name. Davide Moretti, who's from Italy, is a 3-star. Jarrett Culver's a 2-star, and he's going to be an NBA first-round pick. And then Tariq Owens. That's probably the most interesting key about this game tonight. I don't know if you watched that game. You said you watched against Michigan State. Did you see his ankle?
Yes.
How did he play after that?
I know. You know, these ankle things are weird. I've had the same thing happen to me where, I mean, I told you about walking up to Hawksbill Crag last Friday. I kind of stepped a little awkwardly just like that on my ankle, and I was able to keep walking. You never know with those ankle injuries because it might make a sound, it might look absolutely gruesome, but these limbs can bounce back pretty quickly.
It's weird.
I think I see Owens isn't practicing today, but they're just getting him ready. He'll be out there. I mean, he'll be out there in the championship game.
He's not missing this game, even if he does have a sprained ankle. He'll pull it out, maybe not to the degree, but Isaiah Thomas, Game 6, 1989 Finals against the Lakers. I'm going to take Virginia based on the sole fact that I picked them to win the national championship. And I think it would be a little preemptive if I all of a sudden changed to Texas Tech.
Oh, come on. That was a month ago, for crying out loud.
Yeah, but I'm still trusting Tony Bennett's squad defensively. It's going to be fun. It's the key matchup, and I think Charles Barkley or Kenny Smith pointed out, it's going to be DeAndre Hunter or Jarrett Culver. These are the 2 NBA guys on each roster. Whichever one has a better game is probably going to win tonight. I know Texas Tech has a better bench than Virginia, but I just think the matchup, the 2 best players on each squad, is going to determine who's going to win the game tonight.
Let's take a break. We'll talk with Brad Caldwell about Corlissville, the documentary that he has produced and directed, as halftime continues on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
No hidden agendas on this program. You're listening to Halftime.
Tired of all the broken promises and broken equipment at your current gym? The Fort Smith Athletic Club is the nicest and most well-equipped fitness and tennis club in the area, with a state-of-the-art fitness center, Pilates, fitness classes, personal and group training, and the best tennis facilities in the region. 7 outdoor courts, 5 indoor courts, plus pickleball and racquetball courts. And free child care is included. The Fort Smith Athletic Club. Call 452-4031 for membership information.
What matters most to your family can now cost less when you choose comfortable, reliable, and efficient natural gas heating, water heating, cooking, and clothes drying for your home. You make the right choice in today's environment. High-efficiency natural gas appliances can reduce your monthly costs. And right now, you can save even more with heating and water heating rebates from AOG. Visit AOGC.com today and get more comfort for less cost.
Protect your plants from weeds the attractive way with green thumb colored mulch from Metters Lumber True Value. Right now, get 5 bags for just $15 while supplies last. It acts as a natural weed barrier, manages soil temperature, and helps retain moisture, especially during drier seasons of the year. 2 cubic foot bags come in your choice of red, black, and brown and include a 12-month color guarantee. At this great bargain of the month price, why not stock up today at Metters Lumber True Value with locations in Alma, Ozark, and Clarksville.
Metal Mart offers high-quality prefabricated metal buildings, metal roofing, custom trim shop, carports, and more. They strive to be a company where contractors as well as do-it-yourselfers are welcome. Metal Mart assists you in calculating the materials needed to complete your project, all at a rate you can afford. Stop by 7320 Highway 271 South in Fort Smith or call 648-3342. You can also catch them online at metalmarts.com. Metal Mart, the right material for the right price.
Hi, I'm Kelly Smith, owner of Dixie Digital Imaging, the Xerox authorized agency and dealer in the River Valley. The 29 new models of Xerox business printers and copiers represent a quantum leap forward in office technology. They are designed for the way we work today, safely and securely. They're powered by Xerox Connect Key technology. They're innovative and affordable with both black and white and color devices available. For more information, give Dixie Digital a call at 783-6600 or visit us at dixiedigital.com. Dixie Digital Imaging, bringing Xerox document innovations to the River Valley.
Colorworks Paint and Body in Barling has a new owner, Andy Herod, and he is ready to make your auto body repairs today. If you live in Barling, Central, Lavaca, or Charleston, Colorworks is your local auto body repair shop. Andy provides superior auto body repair and paint work in addition to working with your insurance company to make your claim as easy as possible. If you have a collision and need repairs, ask for Andy at Colorworks, 1206 4th Street in Barling across from CV's, or call 434-2639.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Tye Richardson.
Arkansas is heading to Monday night for the chance to repeat. They'll count the basket at the end for Corliss. Monday night, the Razorbacks looking for the repeat.
Brad Caldwell joining us here on Halftime, sports director for RiverValleyNow.com and also filmmaker who's come out with a brand new documentary that tells the story about maybe the greatest Razorback ever to take the hardwood, although you do have a Hall of Famer now in Sidney Moncrief. Corlissville is the documentary. So, Brad, thanks for coming on. Tell us about the documentary.
Thanks a lot, Phil. First thing I want to say is that Matt Zimmerman is on our documentary, and, man, he is incredible on here. If you've ever talked to Matt Zimmerman, he'll be able to or you would be able to tell he's got a lot of passion and excitement for the Razorbacks, and he called Corliss the greatest Razorback. And then he wasn't just meaning basketball. He actually called him the greatest Razorback ever. So there is a lot of stuff in this documentary that you just won't know. And just stuff like, that did he ever consider going somewhere besides Arkansas, and the brotherhood that he and Scotty Thurman have. There's just several things. We got a chance to talk to his mother and Scotty, Corliss obviously, and then Matt Zimmerman as well, and then his junior high and senior high coaches. And there's some stuff, some B-roll that you guys will enjoy. It's going to be very well put together and a lot of fun for those who are interested in Arkansas Razorbacks and then Russellville Cyclones as well.
So this is telling the entire story of Corliss's career up until it is right now? Does it focus on any specific part of his career over another?
No, not really. We kind of go all the way up from the legendary broken backboard. That's kind of where the story starts for Corliss, and really where Corliss became a household name back in the 8th grade. And I'll be honest with you, we actually had the footage of that, which we looked everywhere for, and we finally did get that footage. So that's a reason to tune in itself. But all the way from that point, all the way up to where he is now, we talk a little bit about everything. Stops along the way at the King Cotton Classic victory and, of course, the '94 championship victory. And then in the NBA and all the things that he accomplished throughout his career.
Talking with Brad Caldwell, sports director for River Valley Now. He's our guest here on Halftime. Brad, how'd this idea come about?
Well, we actually started shooting some feature stories back a couple, I guess it's been a few months back. There was a story of a young man named Hunter Boyer. And Hunter, actually, he's from Atkins, and Hunter, about this time last year, fell off a cliff, and he lived to tell the story about it. But not only did he live to tell the story about it, but he had a great football season last year. And so we told his story and just really kind of began to brainstorm about different stories that would interest those in the River Valley and particularly Russellville. Of course, Russellville is where Corliss is from. Mm-hmm. And so Corliss was at the top of the list, and we started trying to chase things down. It took me about 2 months to chase Corliss down, but and I think people weren't really thinking that we were serious about it, to be honest, or just playing around, whatever. I'm not sure, but it did take me about 2 months, and we finally got him in January, and it just kind of blossomed from there.
So from start to finish, how long did the production date for this movie premiere tonight?
Oh, man, I mean, if you take from the first phone call I made to try to track Corliss down to now, we're talking probably close to 6 months. Just phone calls and travel and we traveled to Dallas, we traveled to Fayetteville and Little Rock and just different places in between. So, yeah, I would say a good 6 months.
So, Brad, for those who are wanting to watch it, what time does it come out tonight, and how can people watch it?
Okay, well, so you can go to facebook.com/River Valley Now, and that's the main way to access, and it'll be right at the top of the page. We will actually start a watch party at 7 p.m., and also on Twitter. You can find it through various platforms on Twitter. I know that I'll be tweeting it out. I'll probably tweet it at you guys, and just different avenues. But if you want to follow me on Twitter, it's at Many Hatsman, Many M-A-N-Y Hatsman, and that's where you can find it. Also, we have a couple other people that are involved. Mark Freeman, he is our managing editor, and Matty Laster, he's our video production manager. We're the team that put it all together. And then you can also follow Mark Freeman at Real Mark Freeman on Twitter. And I can't recall Matty's Twitter handle, so I couldn't give it to you. But those are two ways to find it. We will be getting it out there for sure. But I promise you, if you are a Razorback fan, especially a fan of the old school Razorbacks, you're definitely going to want to watch this.
So, Corliss had himself a good NBA career. He spent most of his time in Sacramento, won the title with Detroit. He finished his NBA career with the 2006-2007 Sacramento Kings, who were coached by one Eric Musselman. And there's some talk of people would like to see perhaps, and Musselman said he doesn't know who his assistants are. Maybe, and who knows what kind of relationship they had or still have. But I guess to some people it would make sense to bring on a Corliss Williamson as an assistant if he's looking to get back into the college game. Now, he's still an NBA assistant.
Sure.
He's been a college assistant. He's been a college head coach. Do you think he might have or would have any interest in returning to Arkansas as an assistant?
Well, let me just say this. Part of that is in the film. But I'm going to tell you, if you line up...
That's called a tease.
That's a tease right there.
That's right. But if you line up all of the stars, and I think this would be a great time for Corliss to come back and be a part of the staff. One of the gripes that Razorback fans have had over the last few years, especially under Mike and under Nolan, was rebounding and post play and those sort of things. And to be honest with you, we got firsthand knowledge. We got to see Corliss working with DeAndre Ayton at Phoenix and some of the other post guys there at Phoenix. When we there at Dallas, we've got some of the B-roll there. But I think he would be a great fit with the connection. And, one thing that I think with Coach Musselman is he needs a guy that can help him with the culture of Arkansas Razorbacks. This is a different area. This is a different state. And if he has somebody that kind of knows how things go and he can lean on that guy to say, hey, how does this work here and this work, I think it could help him in the long run.
It would make sense because, and I know Musselman's got, pretty thick, they used to call them Rolodexes, Ty. Now it's called your contacts app. And I know his is pretty thick or takes up a lot of data. But I would imagine that it might not be so thick into where you need to recruit in the state of Arkansas. And Corliss has exactly that. He's got those connections from time spent at Arkansas Baptist and UCA and got a connection to Central Arkansas. I don't know. It seems the more I think about it, the more it makes sense, but it all depends on Corliss's interest in doing just that.
Oh, I think that there's a possibility there. That's all. I don't want to go too far into it. I want you guys to see it, but I do think that the possibility exists that Corliss could be a part of this thing. Now, of course, that's up to Coach Musselman. But hey, listen, if Coach Musselman, if he wants to call me and ask me, I'm going to put a vote in for Corliss right now. Let's bring him on.
Brad Caldwell with the sports director for River Valley Now. Brad, one of the questions, I don't know if you touched on this with Corliss, but it's definitely been asked over the years with Arkansas Razorback fans, is who's the best Arkansas basketball player of all time? Would you say it's Corliss or Sidney Moncrief?
Ooh, that's a tough one. And I'll throw another name at you that a lot of people don't say, and that's Todd Day. Todd Day broke Sidney Moncrief's record there as far as his scoring record. Of course, nowadays you don't even see kids stay long enough, especially kids that are on that level, to break records. I mean, between those three right there, I would say that those three are in a pantheon by themselves. Of course, now Sidney has the feather in his cap of being a Naismith Hall of Famer, which the other two will not be. You know, as Coach Zimmerman talked about with Corliss, is he has the feather in his cap of being basically the only major national championship in school history that isn't disputed. You know, the 64 team shares the national championship, the 64 football team shares the national championship with Alabama. They share it with Notre Dame. And really, if you look at it, the major news outlets and those things, they actually recognize Alabama as the champion of that year. The 1994 Razorback national champions are undisputed, and they're the only ones that are major sport at the U of A, and Corliss was the best player on that team.
Hey, Brad, quickly, where will the movie be released? Where can fans or listeners find a way to watch Corlissville?
Okay, so again, just Facebook.com/River Valley Now. You can find the film. And then, like I said, also you can find it on my Twitter @MiniHatsMan. And I'll be tweeting it out to you guys. Hopefully you guys can retweet it out to folks and that sort of thing. But, you know, your Twitter, my Twitter, everybody's Twitter. We're going to be trying to get it out there to the local media folks and having you guys hopefully be a part of sharing that with us. But @MiniHatsMan is my Twitter, along with River Valley Now Facebook at Facebook.com/River Valley Now. If you'll just watch Twitter, I'm sure that someone, or Facebook, somebody will share it out there with you. And please be a part of it. I think that you will really enjoy the story that we tell with the great Corliss Williamson.
Well, we're definitely looking forward to seeing it. Brad Caldwell, thank you so much for coming on, and congrats on the movie.
Thank you.
You got it. That's Brad Caldwell, the sports director for River Valley Now. All right, we'll come back with a cherry on the top of halftime. This is ESPN Arkansas and HitThatLine.com.
No hidden agendas on this program. You're listening to Halftime.
Spring is in the air, and spring turkey hunting season is almost here. And Jelco Outdoors has all the gear you need to bag that big old tom this spring. Calls, vests, chairs, decoys, camo clothing, hunting boots, blinds, turkey shotguns, chokes, and ammo. Everything you need to get ready for spring turkey season is at Jelco Outdoors. Remember, a great hunt begins at Jelco Outdoors. Jelco, 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith. Are you looking for a new place to call home? Whether you're looking for an apartment, duplex, townhome, or a house, Trinity Multifamily has you covered. They even have options in surrounding states, from Texas to Michigan and Kansas to Tennessee. If you're looking for a new place to call home, make Trinity Multifamily your first call at 479-452-1817. That's 479-452-1817. Or online at trinitymultifamily.com to search rental properties near you.
True Grit Running Company is where perseverance meets passion. Whether you're training for your next marathon or just comfortable shoes to keep up with your kids, we have the gear to help you reach your goals. With our slow motion gait analysis and our extensive product knowledge, we have the right pair of shoes for you. We also carry apparel, nutrition, hydration accessories, injury prevention gear, and recovery products. We offer classes, workshops, and group runs. Lace up, show up, and get your grit on. True Grit Running Company, 6808 Rogers Avenue, Suite B, behind Chick-fil-A.
Advanced Mechanical Performance, your premier UTV, off-road, truck, and Jeep repair facility. Whether it's a lift kit, an oil change, or a complete makeover of your machine, go see Cody and the gang at AMP and get it right the first time. These guys know what they're doing and are doing what they know. Advanced Mechanical Performance, 3201 Wheeler Avenue in Fort Smith. Call them today at 434-4161.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One is a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
ProCare Family Health with locations in Bonanza, Chaffee Crossing, and at their new location in Poto. 1103 Dewey Avenue in Poto is your primary care clinic, acting as a principal point of healthcare to patients of all ages. Their emphasis is to educate patients about their health and how to maintain it throughout their lifetime. They are devoted to the best research models so that their patients can get the highest standard of care. ProCare Family Health can assist with weight loss, testosterone injections, diabetes, and cortisone shots. ProCare Family Health, dedicating to meeting your healthcare needs.
Spring is coming, and Prestigious Pool Care and Storage is ready to help you open your pool, replace your old liner, or update the equipment. Prestigious Pool Care and Storage is the local dealer for Regal Chemicals. Our testing center will help determine what Regal chemicals you need for balancing and sanitizing the water. We have mini storage to store that winter cover or other household items also. Let Prestigious Pool Care and Storage and Regal recharge your pool for a safe and happy summer. 9900 Highway 71 South, or call 648-1213.
You know, a night out with friends can be so much more. Upgrade your evening at 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge on the Avenue. Rediscover life's simple pleasures. Dial back, slow down, and immerse yourself in what true relaxation can be. Top shelf wines and liquors, premium beers, world-class cigars, all in an atmosphere that feels less like a lounge and more like a destination. Sample, indulge, escape. 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge. Upgrade your night on the Avenue.
We were on a break!
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Tye Richardson.
High drive by Fletcher, right field. That one's way back, and it is way out of here. Dominic Fletcher crushed that to the last row of Section 135.
Big day across the Natural State. Happy that the coaching search has come to an end. Happy that we're going to have a press conference. Happy it's going to be right here on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com in about an hour and 5 minutes. But none are any happier than Ruskin and Zach. That means that they've got about 30 minutes of content they just don't have to worry about, and then they can just react for the rest of the day. They've got it the easiest of any radio host in the entire state today.
Yeah, that's
I got a little FOMO on that.
Especially after what the 80 hours you did with Arkansas baseball and doing halftime this weekend.
It felt like it. It really did.
Did you ever calculate how much it was exactly?
How much radio? So we did an hour and a half of our show, about 10 and a half hours of baseball. So let's say that was 11. Let's say I did about 13 and a half hours of radio. Yeah. So that's why I leaned on you so heavily on Friday, more than usual.
I understand, man. And I'll say this. They probably, if we would have done the most annoying Arkansas media poll after that, you probably would have been a lot higher than you were originally ranked.
That's what I was shooting for. All right, stay tuned. Ruskin's out coming up in just a little bit. We'll be back tomorrow. For Tye, I'm Phil. Get up, get out there, and get better.
With Michelin Pilot tires, you can do it all.